Hello ladies and jelly spoons, and welcome to 24K Movies, TV shows, and video game reviews. A place where our viewpoint is never sponsored unless M&M's want to reach out to a brother and give me a lifetime supply of M&M's, and then, you know what I'm saying, I could be sponsored by M&M's. M&M's, Mars, just let y'all know. I know it's M&M Mars Company, but if y'all want to reach out to a brother, just let me know. I got you. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this is the review where we tell you if it's either good or bad in a metallic scale. So it's either going to be copper, rust, and a horrible metal, or it's going to be gold, silver, platinum, double platinum, or triple platinum, the coveted high title. But ladies and jelly spoons, what do we have for you today? Well, we have none other than the absolute new favorite. That's right, Alien Earth on FX and Hulu. Now, if you didn't know, because you may have been living under a rock, the new FX Hulu series, oh my God, that's hard to say, Hulu series. But anyway, Alien Earth just came out like 2 weeks ago, like a week and a half ago, and they're on their third episode now. And if you have not watched this series, oh my God, if they don't drop the ball, I'm gonna go ahead and say this is my favorite TV series of 2025 besides Bondsman. I wasn't expecting anything that we got. If you want to know the story, well, you know what? Let me do a trailer. We're gonna go check out the trailer for Alien Earth, and then we'll come back and unpack it. I think that's the easiest way, because if I just start talking about it and you don't know, you know what I'm saying, then you know. But I will say, spoiler warning, if you don't know anything and you don't want to know anything, we're only going to cover the first 3 episodes up until now, because I got something to say. But let's go check out the trailer, and then we'll come right back and I'll unpack. And that's that. Not Nickelodeon's All That.
If I'm not human, what am I?
Did you even think about it? Was it blue skies from you? Did you see it through?
Totally the wrong music for this trailer.
From your This ship collected specimens, 5 new life forms from distant planets. Monsters. We don't lock them down, it will be too late.
Okay, welcome back. That was the trailer for Alien Earth. Now, they held back a lot in the trailer, because I will say the first episode, each episode is probably about almost an hour long. I hate waiting week to week. I kind of wish they would give us the entire series to munch on. That's what streaming is. So when they say something streaming, they just literally mean now television. So I am impressed. So if you wanted to know where the timeline of this takes place, even though they kind of retcon Prometheus and Alien Covenant in this series, it takes place a little bit before Alien 1 with Sigourney Weaver and after Alien, Prometheus, and Covenant. So somewhere in between that time. I thought I had it hammered down, but they kind of changed the whole thing within the series. We'll get there. So, episode 1, Hunting and Escaping. So, the storyline is, there is this guy who, I'm just going to call him Waylon. He's known as the boy genius. He's more like Peter Pan. He has tons of money, and he's a creepy kid who just, he's probably one of the smartest people in the world, but he just wants to have an intelligent conversation. That's his whole duty on life. So he wants to create the best, strongest, most amazing, artificial, intelligent thing so that he could have a conversation with. I know, that's a weird ass premise, but that's the premise. But don't let that dissuade you, because in the space of 20 minutes, you're met with a little child that is bald, dying of a disease, which he transfers her consciousness into a droid body. So kind of think of real human consciousness in a droid body. So synthetic humans, just in a different way. Now, also during this time, because of David and because of Wayland Yutani, don't forget there's also androids, which are full robots, and then there are cyborgs, which are people with robot parts in them. Now, I know what that sounds. It sounds like there's three different things, and they're kind of weird, freakishly all together in one universe. You got androids, you got cyborgs, and then you got kind of what Wayland... I'm calling him Wayland because in the story of Aliens and Predator and everything, he at this age would be Wayland. So, and he's part of Wayland Yutani. And then the funny part is, he's talking to Yutani. That would have to make him Wayland. You get it? He's a part of Wayland Yutani. He talks to Yutani, and he's the head of his company, which is Prodigy right now. But he would have to be Wayland if he's a Wayland. Anyway, it'll make you go crazy. Anyway, so the movie starts off very Alien-esque with Sigourney Weaver. There are people waking up from pods. You can see that the machinery and the pods and mother and father and everything is exactly the same technology during Sigourney Weaver's Alien, which would make sense since this is within that 100-year gap. So let's just say during this gap in time period, this is just before that. Now, once he fixes the little girl and then puts her into a body, he calls her Wendy, being, you know, Wendy Peter Pan, the whole Wendy Peter Pan thing. And then they get a bunch of other kids' experiments, and they name them the Lost Boys, and they name them after the Lost Boys. But she's Wendy because she's special. We don't know why she's special. We just know that she's special. Now, my pet peeve, if I could pick out one, and there's not a lot to pick out that's bad in this series, but I will pick out one of my pet peeves. One of my pet peeves is if you're making an android or a cyborg or a synth and you want them to pass as human, make them look human. Why are you creepily making them look like weird robotic artificial humans? Make them look human. So the main girl, Wendy, they cut her hair like a weeble, and they gave her this weird... I don't get it, because sex appeal has always been a part of Aliens. Never. But anyways, here you have Wendy and the Lost Boys, and she's teaching them because for some reason her mind is older than theirs. So she's teaching them they're robots who don't know that they're robots in robotic bodies, cyborg, alien, synth things. We don't know quite what they are. All we know is she has a special ability and she's smart. The rest of them are kind of children-like. More the part of just dumb kids in full bodies, which is weird. There's also an actor in here that looks amazingly like Dougie Doug. I had to look up to see if it was Dougie Doug's son. Totally not, but looks exactly like Dougie Doug. That was just weird. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't go anywhere. Just letting you know. So, the ship with the people on it that is alien-esque, they wake up to have a meal before going into hypersleep. Yeah. Nitpick at the thread there. They woke up to go to sleep for hyperspace. It's your show. You know what I'm saying? Your show, whatever. And during this wake up, they have a meal, kind of like Aliens. Follow with me. It goes right along that line. Kind of like Aliens, of which they single out a bunch of people in the room. We immediately know who the creepy cyborg is. He's one of the main people. They let it known who he is, what he is. And then there's an Asian guy who is creepy, and he's shown as creepy, and they do flashbacks of him standing over their cryo tubes with his hand over a woman's crotch, just like he wants to grab it. And we're fed with, if he's a robot, who programmed him to be creepy? Just wondering why. I mean, artificial intelligence, we've seen Ash in the original Aliens, but he was more along the line still following the company's orders. He went crazy when you hit him upside the head with a fire extinguisher, but he was more or less going along with the company curriculum, which why it doesn't make sense why this Asian droid dude is just programmed creepy. He's just a programmed molester, which is weird. Don't know why. Anyway, they introduce us to him to take him out instantly because they go back to their cryotubes and go to sleep, and you get flashes and images of something that happens that maybe later on in the series they're going to flash back full to, and we'll understand what happened on the ship. All we know is there is an alien on board, definitely a xenomorph, not an omovorph or a novovorph or a menovorph or a xenomorph. All the different names they called it back in Prometheus and the Covenant and the other movie, which escapes my brain. I don't know what it is. It's Prometheus, Alien. What is it? Alien, Covenant, Prometheus. There's one more. Well, anyway, this is a real xenomorph. So, as the crew members banging on the door asking for help, of course, the main cyborg, he is human. He just has cybernetic parts. He's Jax. He's Jax from Mortal Kombat. He lets the crew member die, and right away I'm just like, yeah, this dude is evil. He's an evil, but I can't say he's Ash because he's more human than robot. He's a cyborg. So he still has humanity, a lot of it. So to let somebody die, that was cold because she's banging for help and he walks up over to her and I'm like, he's going to save her. And he pulls out a blowtorch and just seals the door. And I'm just like, sorry, not sorry. Hashtag sorry, not sorry. And he goes back to sit in his seat and finish doing what he's doing for Mother. And then as the alien starts to break through because the alien still wants to eat his ass like taco meat, he crawls into a floorboard safe and he like closes the thing while the alien drools on him. And the ship hits things and then crashes into a form of Earth because it's alien Earth. Crashes. Boom! Right into a building. Now this is a utopian society where everything seems to be great. I don't know how it's the past, but it's our future at the same time. It's totally crazy, but a team goes out to investigate the crash and find out what happened. Turns out it's a science vessel with a bunch of different species on it, alien species. They're all supposed to be anesthetized or dead, euthanized, but of course, they kept them alive. It's Weyland Yutani. Why wouldn't you? So as the security team boards the ship, we're treated to a host of different creatures that we've never seen before in the Alien franchise or the Predator franchise. Now, I say Predator franchise because they did mention that somehow a Yucktaw would be part of Alien Earth, which means we get a Predator in this universe, in an Alien universe. And we've already had Alien versus the Predator, so we know they coexist. We know they hunt each other. We know there's history there. So the fact that we're going to see a Yucktaw or Yuckchaw would actually be really great. But at this point, it's just xenomorphs. So as they enter the ship, the first person they come across is Cyborg. He's still crazy, out of his mind. He ties two people up. He throws things away from them. From the moment he took away their weapons and threw things away from them, I'm like, they're dead as fried chicken. I know it, don't know how. I know they're dead. I've watched a lot of these movies. I know how sci-fi goes. They're vulnerable now. You've taken away their weapons. Something's going to kill them. And then the cyborg leaves the room. Now, one of these said new creatures, it looks like a wormy thing. And I hate wormy things. I hate that whole spiel. We could do without it. But in the words of creepiness and in the bounds of creepiness, this thing crawls up all around his head, teasing to bite before it sticks to the side of his neck piece. And like, have you guys ever seen Journey to the Center of the Earth with Will Ferrell? Do you remember how he's singing at the campfire and a mosquito attaches to his back, and it just sucks and sucks, and it gets real big like a backpack full of blood, and then he passes out and turns gray. That is the comic version of what the horror version we just got. Because the horror version is, as this thing sucks and gets bigger, the dude dies and dries out and it falls off like a tick. Now the other guy, we hear him screaming and see that there's another one that's making my neck itch already. I don't like wormy things. But we know they're both dead, and I knew they were both going to die. Stop it. I knew they were both going to die. We both knew they were going to die. And then you go over to the ship. Now, Wendy, she has been watching her brother, her real brother, for some reason, who they don't go, right now there's not enough information to know anything beyond the fact that she was taken from her family by the boy genius, and the rest of the family was told that she died. Because you can never go home once you go with the boy genius. So, anyway, she wanted to go here because she wanted to protect her brother. Now, while they are searching and going through everything, her brother, which is a part of the team investigating the ship and the crash, they come across the first encounter of the xenomorph. Now, if you are a thinker like me, from the moment he first crosses, her brother first crosses the xenomorph, he pulls his tail up. Now, xenomorphs that we've known and seen in all the Alien franchise, they aren't stealthy killers. They just come full at you. Once you know they're there and they're aware of you, you're just taco meat. They're going after you. But for some reason, this one doesn't attack him there. He slides away into the ceiling and just looks at him with that mouth thing. And I'm like, oh man, does this one not have the two mouths? Damn it. This can't be a xenomorph if it doesn't have the two mouths. This is like a novomorph close to the nomomorph or whatever it is. But as he investigates and comes across it, the alien makes short work of a bunch of different people. Like, this xenomorph is a mix. He must have impregnated like Freddy Krueger and Jason and got their traits, because he is the stuff of nightmares. This is a xenomorph unlike we have never seen a xenomorph before. Like, the thinking, the cunning, and the instinct. Like, to give you an example, there's a scene in Aliens 2, where the guy, Bill Paxton was like, they're coming out of the walls, man. They're coming out of the damn walls. Because they were on the walls and the walls looked creepy and they blended in with that. That I can understand. It's part of their background. That's what they do. This one crawled up, this xenomorph crawled up on a statue and posed like he was the statue, so that when people walk by, don't see him. And he lies in wait, and he grabs one of the team members and throws him on the ground, and that's when we hit the and then the other one, yeah, and it just came and it went through the dude's face and blew it through the back. And I'm like, okay, we've established that this is an R rating. This is not PG-13. This is definitely an R rating. If it wasn't for the F-bombs, the S-bombs, the H-bombs, the Z-bombs, if you have to ask what a Z-bomb is, you can't afford it. Anyway, as we've clearly gone past the point of a PG-13 rating by violence, I'm like, okay, so we're here now. All right. So while the rest of the Neverland Ranch team is investigating the ship, she's trying to find her brother, who, again, the alien does not kill for some reason. He runs by him into a room and kills all the people in the room. And then as her brother decides to go and investigate, because that's what anybody would do. I'm starting to think there's something off about him too, because nobody would investigate after they saw this thing just rip apart an entire room full of hunters, as they called them. And the alien is up top on the balcony just looking at him like a predator, like, and I'm like, why does this thing refuse to kill him? And then it jumps down and doesn't kill him. And I'm like, it throws him across the room, and I'm like, why has everything this alien come across, this xenomorph, ripped apart and killed very violently, by the way, why doesn't he kill this boy? And I'm like, that got my brain to thinking. Now, the reason why I say that is because the sister, who is the Wayland Yutani Bishop 2000 robot, the girl who is Wendy, for some reason, every time the alien moves, every time the alien talks, clicks, or make a sound, she can hear it. More than that, in episode 3, she can feel when the facehuggers are harmed. She can feel when the eggs are in pain. She can hear them move around, and she can almost understand the xenomorph. Now, I know what you're saying. What the hell? Yeah, that hasn't been done since Alien 4 with Sigourney Weaver, but she was made. They brought her back with the alien DNA at the same way that she was impregnated with a queen. So she was the byproduct, but somehow it just worked out. She had acid for blood, so she was like the creature's mother. But in this time period, nobody really knows what a xenomorph is. And it would be weird for them to have a xenomorph, since they've never seen one, to clone her and put her body in. So as far as I can understand, she's susceptible to certain frequencies. And when at the beginning they was giving her hearing tests, they specifically showed us her getting all the different sounds that weren't there, and this and that, and the high pitch thing. So I'm thinking she has an ability for frequencies, but it doesn't explain her feeling them cutting open a facehugger and her really feeling the pain of a facehugger being cut. That would imply she has something in common with xenomorphs. And I don't know where they're going with that. It's an interesting thing, because I don't know if she's going to be infected and come out like Ripley, which is why they knew they could do it with Ripley. Maybe that's how they learned the process. Also, she's very Sigourney Weaver-esque at this point. So I'm like, is this Ripley's grandmother or mother? Like, there's something, there's a familiar relationship with this family, but I don't know what it is yet. But as that episode closes to an end, she ends up finding the eggs, and she tells the other droid with her to stay there, because the egg does its thing. You know how the egg is sitting there and it does the thing, and then the thing comes up and it's just yeah, that facehugger does the facehugging thing. The xenomorph saves the brother from that. As the egg is opening up, the xenomorph grabs the brother and takes him out of the room. Yeah. And I'll come back to that. So let that sink in for a second. I'll come back to that. But the other synthetic like people, the Neverland Ranch children, they're tasked with collecting these specimens. There's one that looks like an eyeball. Have you guys ever seen Hellboy, I think 2, Golden Army? Do you remember the creatures known as tooth fairies that jump in the face and eat the teeth? It looked like a little eyeball with teeth with these sharp spider legs. That's exactly what this is. So I don't know if they did that on purpose or whether or not they're pairing that universe with this universe, but you just said to me that these creatures that only exist in Hellboy now exist in your universe, which makes sense because there's a bunch of different tie-ins from different universes. If you remember from Aliens, the second one, I always want to say Alien 2, but Aliens, the second one, you hear, whatchamacallit, Mad About You, Paul Reiser's guy, saying, there were some accidents and there were some fatalities and a droid was involved. And then you hear Bishop say, oh, what model? And he says, Hyperdyne Systems 100. So apparently Hyperdyne is and I know Cyberdyne is an offshoot of Hyperdyne. So apparently the Terminator universe is somehow connected with this as well, which O'Bannon did Terminator. which if you know anything, it wasn't really Scott who did the Aliens movie. It was O'Bannon, which makes sense. So they're connecting a lot of universes together, and I would be on board with an Alien MCU, Alien multiverse universe. Like, they're all connected. I would be okay with an Alien verse, the Averse, whatever you want to call it. I'd be on board with that. We already got Predators involved, so Terminators and Hybridians, and it does make sense, because if that's the 100, and I think Arnold was a 101, so that would make Arnold the next evolution of those droids, which would be a more efficient robot, but he was a Terminator. He was tasked for just killing, which is weird, because a lot of these robots and droids and cybernetic organism people, they really want to just kill humans. And then you have my boy, Mr. Oliplant in here, who is, I love him in everything. I love the way he talks. He has white hair. He kind of reminds me of Rutger Hauer from, what is the name of that series with, oh my God, Harrison Ford played it. Hold on, give me 1 second. This is going to kill my brain meats. Blade Runner. Blade Runner is a franchise. Rutger Hauer plays a guy with white hair who looks strikingly like Oliplant in this Alien Earth series, which is, there's a lot of universe connecting in here. And if you paid attention, there's a lot of Easter eggs from a lot of different sci-fi universes that I'm guessing Scott, O'Bannon, and maybe even Spielberg are all a part of in this. And I kind of like that. It makes sense, because we watched all these movies and to interconnect two of them, you know, it's kind of like Freddy versus Jason, and then you see like Chucky in the Thing, and like they add like a monster verse. So why can't we have like an alien verse with all the different creatures? By now, it's time. Crossover, franchises, that's what we need. Anyway, the episode ends with them collecting the specimens, and it's weird because, like I said, the eyeball monster attaches to a droid. Now it's funny because none of the other creatures go after the droids. The Neverland Ranch people never go after them, but for some reason this spider eyeball thing from Hellboy tries to jump at her, and it's a point where she's holding it back. And remember, she's part droid, so she has strength, and she can't keep this thing, and it literally sticks on her forehead and temples. And it's doing something, but we don't know what it's doing because they don't give us enough to tell us about it. And she manages to pull it off, and they trap it, and then they find these other creatures in there, and they're tasked with bringing these creatures back. Yutani wants them for some reason. They didn't tell us why, but they end up catching these creatures. So that's episode 1. Episode 2 goes in further with the alien taking Wendy's brother and holding him hostage by secreting him to a wall to draw her out. It's as if, once again, he has faced her. He has faced her brother, but he refuses to kill them for some reason. I don't know if it's because he wants to mate with them or because he wants to get them impregnated, because if he wanted to facehugger her to get the brother, he could have done it by not snatching him out of the room with the eggs, but he purposely did it. He didn't want the brother infected, but he purposely took the brother and put him in a place to lure her out so that he could have a face-to-face with her. I don't know why. I don't know the purpose. Maybe because she can hear him. Maybe he can hear her. I don't know. Like I said, they don't give us enough to go on. But anyway, she ends up stabbing the alien, and this is the first time we see the acid fall down, and the acid... I would have to say he's not a full xenomorph, because normally full xenomorphs acid just eats through everything. And where they're on this planet, it literally stops with the floor, which is just metal. Now, the other xenomorphs were met with in Alien and Alien 2 and Alien 3 and Alien 4. Their acid is so concentrated that it literally burrows through everything, which means somebody could have gotten an alien, modified their DNA, and it got out of hand, which means the next generation and generation and generation of aliens have concentrated acid for blood, because they made sure they said that in Alien 1 with Sigourney Weaver. It has concentrated acid for blood. This one has acid for blood, but it doesn't seem at the same concentration as the other xenomorphs, but it may have been what this xenomorph bred with, because it's not like the normal human xenomorph that comes out of a human. This one is different. So anyway, he ends up fighting her back and forth, and they end up running, and they go back and forth between all the stuff happening. And the boy genius wants Wendy brought back unharmed, and Timothy Olyphant got to go out and get her, and he doesn't understand, but he's disobeying orders. He clearly, like David, is infatuated with these creatures, which in the first episode, he's talking to the little girl, the little bald girl, which is Wendy, and they're talking about this scorpion that they found, and she's like, kill it. And he's like, why? Do you want me to kill it? Like, what's the purpose of killing it? Why would I kill it? And it's like almost like studying something under a petri dish. And now we're back to Timothy Olyphant's character from Blade Runner. I'm telling you, it's something there. Go up and look Rutger Hauer in Blade Runner, and then look at Timothy Olyphant's character in Alien Earth. The shocking resemblance is remarkable. I don't know if after he died, they brought his body back in this form and they used this body and put a consciousness in. I don't know, but I'm saying there's something there. Don't know. So the end of episode 2 ends with her fighting the alien, and she kills him. They don't never let us see that, because of course they wouldn't, because you could show us a cool badass fight scene between her and the aliens. We know she's strong. We know she's capable. She jumped off of a mountain and landed on her feet. Like, we know she's strong. But she gets pulled into an elevator. The door closes. You hear commotions. Her brother's been stabbed through the chest. Pause 1 second. Her brother, who is supposedly human, gets Bishop stabbed through the chest with the pointy alien tail, but he doesn't die. He still has enough strength to get up and run and help his sister to take on this alien. Something is there. I don't know where this family comes from, what they're made of, who they're crossbred with. There is something in this family's line that makes them genetically stronger than normal people. So when the door opens, she falls down. You see the white juice leak from her head. Clearly, she took an L. Even though she got the W, she took an L in this fight. And she's laying on the ground. And her brother crawls over to her where he passes out, because I guess now he feels the alien tail that whipped it through him. Whip it good. Right through his stomach. Backwards. So it went completely through him. Like, you should be dead. But he's not. So they both lay on the floor, and then all of them get taken out by the Neverland Ranch team, and she's on a slab, and he's on a slab, and the alien's on a slab, and all the creatures are on a slab. And at this point, you have the Weyland-Yutani call, where he talks to her over at Yutani, and she's like, I want my specimens, and he was just like, for the right price. So clearly he's not afraid of her and what she can do. They refer to her as her because we don't get the her yet. But clearly he's not afraid of her. Either that or he's too stupid to be afraid of her. But anyway, she gets contacted by the cyborg who was supposed to collect the creatures. And she's like, well, come back in. We'll dump your files and figure out where to go from there. And he's like, no, I can go and exploit this whole situation and I can bring them back. So he's defying her. But on the same token, we also find out that this is 65 years later. So everybody he knows, everybody he thinks he knows are probably all dead and gone. So this is 65 years later for him. So the cryosleep was a lot longer than we've been shown. But also, we didn't see what happened. They just gave us flashes of something that happened, which I know it would be stupid not to go back and revisit. So anyway, episode 2 ends. Episode 3 starts where episode 2 ends. And there is a lot of violence, a lot of things that happen. But as I said, in the 3rd episode, they're in the lab studying these creatures, and young Weyland, I'm still going to say he's Weyland, young Weyland walks over to one of the eggs, and the egg senses him and opens up. And so then Timothy grabs him and takes him out the room, was like, yeah, so I studied these creatures in the manifest on the ship. And what they do is when a human host comes close, they jump up attached to them and implant something in them that bursts out of their chest. He knows this completely. Yet and still, for some reason, he knows that these things won't hurt him, even though he's looked over it and it's moved. For some reason, it won't go after whatever these creatures are, synths, droids, whatever you want to call them. So he decides to cut open an egg and study one of these things while Wendy is in a bed laying somewhere. And while she's in the bed, he starts to cut into the egg, and then he gets the facehugger, and as he cuts the facehugger, she feels it. Something else is going on here. She feels what he's doing to the facehugger, and they don't explain why. So it's not a frequency thing. There is something genetically attached to both of them, because she shouldn't feel the facehuggers and the eggs and being hurt at the same time she could feel the alien. So of course, while they're studying it, you know what happens. They pull the alien baby out, and the brother, they take his lung out for some reason, put it in a jar, and then they put the alien embryo in it, and it goes into his lung because it's a chest burster. At first, I thought maybe they needed to go through your throat or in your stomach or something, but apparently aliens need lung tissue to burst out of. Don't know. Don't give me enough to know. But as this is happening, she feels the alien going into the lung. She grabs her chest and feels it. And I'm like, is she feeling the brother's lung, or is she feeling the alien? Because clearly she felt the facehugger. She felt them cut into the facehugger because she had pain. Huggler. I like that, facehugger. She felt pain, but then at the same token, she felt the alien go into the lung. So she has something in common with aliens. Don't know yet. There's even a picture where they have her face and they have the alien teeth. So I don't know if she's a queen, if she was taken from a queen, if she was infected on another planet. There's a reason why she's special. There's a reason why the boy genius wants her. There's a reason why she's Wendy, the first of her kind, and gets special treatment. There's a reason for everything, and it's written. We just don't know yet. So episode 3 actually comes to an end with her laying on the floor and Prodigy written on the floor, and we don't know what happened to the brother. Is he still alive? Did they give him an artificial lung? Are they going to put that embryo back into him and let it burst out of his chest? We don't know. But for the eggs to be on the ship, there has to be a queen, which means there has to be another xenomorph. Now, I heard them talking about maybe they took the eggs from a derelict planet and put them there, but we also know that if they would have taken them and put them just on the ship like that open, they would have immediately been infected. I mean, you saw the blue light, which looks cool, but they would immediately be infected, moving them from point A to point B. And they would have put them in like cases, like the people who took them out put them in cases. They weren't in cases, they were just open on the ship's floor, like something had just laid them. Which makes me think that there is a queen in the ship, which means the 65 years that took place in cryosleep, more than one xenomorph was born, and there is a queen, and she has in fact laid eggs. Also, when they show the dead crew, only 2 of them are stabbed. 3 of them have their chest burst out, and there's even a facehugger laying in one of the empty chambers. So more than one fully grown xenomorph is here. They also show a shedding of skin, showing that a xenomorph had shedded skin and become fully adult, which they implied it may have been the xenomorph we've seen, but then, like I said, what laid the eggs? And there's obviously even more there. And you see like the semblance of an egg sac, but they show a different creature that looks like a flower. I don't know. There's just so much up in the air. But I will say, this series right now is phenomenal. The people are creepy. The creatures are creepier. I like the fact that we got more than just a facehugger. I do like the little monster from Hellboy, the Tooth Fairy. I'm gonna call it the Tooth Fairy. I do the worm thingies that stick to you. They can go. I don't want to see them, but yet the humans were studying them too on the ship, on the Weyland-Yutani vessel. So, excuse me. Sorry about that. It's late as hell. Anyway, I had to get this out. I had to talk about it. Alien Earth has a chance to be one of the greatest TV series I've seen in a very long time. All they have to do is not drop the ball. So FX, Hulu, I'm really giving y'all a ton of leeway. Right now, the series is at a platinum rating, absolute platinum rating. But where we go from here, that's going to be on y'all, because we done seen this before where a series start feeling itself, it get woke and go into horrible territory, and then the next thing you know, I'm like, here we go. Right now, everything is cool. There's so much up in the air. The eyeball that attached to the synth droid, she's now doing and seeing weird things. So I'm thinking he impregnated her with something too. But if she's a synth, I don't know if it should have took, because the creatures don't go after robots, but this eyeball one went after her. So I don't know. I don't know. But I will say the series has me completely intrigued. It's got violence. It's got face huggers. It's got a xenomorph and a lot of blood and death so far. Like, if this was a movie and they put 3 episodes together and they ended it in the next episode, I'd be like, that was a great Alien movie. That was better than the last few Alien movies. I would say that's probably better than Alien Romulus. But this is a series, so we got a lot more to go. All they have to do is not drop the ball. Right now, Alien Earth, in here, in the Game Dojo with 24K movies and TV show reviews, is a platinum series. Totally platinum series. So right now, all you guys have to do is stick the landing. Stick the landing. You have my vote for one of the best TV series of 2025. Just don't disappoint. Don't drop the ball. It's all I ask. Don't drop the ball. Have you seen Alien Earth? Will you see Alien Earth? I highly recommend it. Guys, it's on FX. It's on Hulu. If you have Disney, you have Hulu included. So go and watch the 3 episodes they have out now. I hate waiting week to week when it comes to these episodes, but it's been a while since I actually really wanted to see the next episode, and that's exactly how I felt. And it's been a while since I had a TV show where I'm just like, oh man, I can't wait to see the next episode. Never even picked up my phone when I watched it. That is definitely one of the biggest telltales that it's a good thing. If I sit there and I don't pick up my phone and check TikTok or Wikipedia or do this and do that, it holds my attention. And this held my total attention. And the fact that it's new alien tech territory, I love that, because you have a chance of doing something we've seen before, something we haven't seen before, and so far you nailing it with a bang. So Alien Earth, guys, check it out. I highly recommend it. All they have to do right now is stick the landing. That's all you have to do right now, is don't mess up. If you stick the landing on this, absolutely, I can even go triple platinum, because you can only go up from here or down from here, and right now with the first 3 episodes, you on that upward trend. So Ridley Scott, I don't know who else was involved. I don't know if O'Bannon was involved, but I will say this is a series that if it was a movie, I'd gladly watch. So right now, the series in my heart, in my soul, and in the Game Dojo is platinum. Absolutely, without question, platinum. Now, like I said, there are some takeaways, but I can't really take away from them yet because I don't know the story. I don't know the full story. Once that is revealed to me, that'll prove to either be an ingenious thing or maybe a stupid thing. And it could go either way at this point. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for joining me in 24K. Until next time, catch up on Alien Earth, baby. I'm telling you, ain't too much on television. They cancel so many good series. Alien Earth is not one of them. It is the latter. It is the exception that disproves the rule that there is still a product to be made in the Alien franchise, which we all knew. We all knew. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's canon. Watch Alien Earth.